Welcome to Tech Time with Motor Mike. And I have a gracious coworker who sells with me. This is Cody Mac here, and he just come out of service. And now he's selling, so he actually has far better insight than I do. And we're going to talk about something that you're going to encounter out there on the road, and that's water heaters and issues and bypass. So we're going to cover those. We kind of impromptu threw this together. We're at the show. It's pouring the snow outside. We weren't expecting this. We have a little bit of time. So we're going to cover some water heaters. He's going to give us some good tips. So let's get started.
Hey guys, it's Cody Mac-water here with RCB. I work with Motor Mike. I was a technician here for about 6 years, certified through the RVIA. Today we're going to be talking about suburban water heaters. Here we have a 6-gallon suburban water heater. This is on a Forest River Georgetown motorhome. Now this is a pre-owned unit. We wanted to do this one because we'll show you a couple of different things that you can do to help maintain the life of your water tank. First off, like I said, it's a 6-gallon tank. It'll run off of propane and electric. You can do both at the same time. That's going to give you your max amount of hot water. If you run it constantly on electric and propane, you're looking at about 18 gallons of hot water per hour. Now it's quick replenishing, so as soon as you start drawing water out of that tank, it's already filling back up with fresh water, and it's heating up as it's filling back up. So about 18 gallons of hot water per hour, you'll get 6 gallons of hot water at a time. Here, a couple of maintenance tips I'd like to go over first is one of the big things that you'll run into is you'll notice sometimes your flame on your water heater is not burning the correct color. You want a nice blue color with a slightly orange tip flame. So some of the things that people run into a lot of the times is your burner tube right here will get clogged up with cobwebs, spiders, stink bugs, ladybugs, anything that can make its way in there. They'll find a way to do so. So one of the tips I've always learned is take like a straw cleaner or a little piece of wire, strip back some of the wires, shove it into your burner tube right through this port here, and just kind of clean it out. That'll keep your burner tube from having any restriction, so when that propane is traveling through, it's going to give you a nice even burn, and it's going to heat up the water faster. Now, running on electric and propane is going to be your quickest way to heat the water up. Running it on electric will still heat the water up significantly, but it works a little slower. I always say if you're at a campground, they offer electric, run everything you can on electric, because you're not paying the campground for their electricity. That's a way to just save your propane. Now, another big thing we're going to talk about on these suburban water heaters, anode rods. This here is an anode rod. This is going to be basically your drain plug for a water heater. Now this is a used anode rod. Like I said, this is a pre-owned unit. Basically what this does is this collects the sediment that's built up inside your tank. I still recommend periodically flushing your tank out even if you do have an anode rod, but this will help significantly with keeping your water heater tank and your water a little cleaner. Now these anode rods, they deteriorate over time after they're being used. You can see this one here is starting to deteriorate right up through here. Once this anode rod gets to about 50%, whether it's the thickness or the length of it, that's when you want to replace it. Once it's 50% gone, go ahead and just replace that. Also, once these start deteriorating, you'll see some of that sediment that comes off starts building up here inside your water heater hole. What you can do is, there's a tool that you can use out there, just hook onto the end of a garden hose. It's kind of like a wand that you stick in there, put water in there and just flush out that part of your tank, because right at the bottom where all that sediment will drop off, there will get a buildup of sediment right there, right at the drain for your water heater. So just keep that clean. Clean up your threads every now and again. That way it doesn't get rusty and you're not going to have an impossible time trying to take it out. Now to take this out, it is a 1 16th inch socket that'll just go right on the end of that, and give that a couple of turns, and that'll either take the plug out or put it back in. Now before you take that plug out, you want to drain the pressure out of your tank. So make sure to turn your water supply off, and then come here right here at your pressure relief valve. That's what this is. You pull this back and you'll hear that water hiss. The pressure will hiss out of there, right out of this port. As soon as that stops, you know the pressure's drained out of your tank, and then you can put your anode rod in or out, and then either drain or fill up with water. Another thing I want to talk about is the thermostat and temperature switch on this. It's going to be right behind this black panel here. So a lot of times people will be like, my water heater won't fire, it won't even try to fire, it's not doing anything. I've seen a lot of times what it is if that water heater, the thermostat goes out or isn't working correctly, and it'll heat that water up too much. The tank inside this will sense that the tank's getting too hot, and there's basically two fuses back behind here. Those fuses, if one of them's the thermostat, if that goes bad, then it will kill the fuse right behind this. It'll break it, cut off all the electricity to the water heater. That way it won't overheat and, you know, eventually cause something to damage the coach. That's really about it on water heaters. This is a pretty basic one here. They come in 6, 10, and 12-gallon tanks. Usually the bigger the coach that you get, the bigger the water heater you get. But that should do it on water heaters and basic maintenance coverage on it. If you guys are ever out on the road and you have troubles, just refer to your local shop. They should be able to answer some questions for you pretty easily and get you back on the road. We're going to talk about the bypass valves on the back side of this water heater. On this Georgetown, they make it very easy to get to. There's a compartment right beside the water heater, and they run all your bypass valves onto the side. So here you'll have your bypass valve for the hot line, the cold line, and then the mixing line. This one is currently in bypass, how it is right now. You want to run it in bypass when you're winterizing the coach. You do not want to fill this water tank up with antifreeze. That's one of the worst things that you can do. It'll cause it to stain inside the tank and get stinky. I highly recommend trying to avoid that. So before you winterize your coach, bypass your water heater. It'll save you a lot of issues and headaches. And then whenever you're ready to go camping in the springtime, just switch all 3 of these valves back to where they're in line, just like that, and there. And then you can fill your water heater up. It'll be ready to go. And that should do it on the water heater bypass. Like I said, bypass it before you winterize it, and then unbypass when you're ready to go camping, drain the water heater, and refill it. And that should do it.